From video games and movies to fast food chains and historical figures, tier lists have become a cultural phenomenon that dominates online discussions. But what is it about this simple ranking system that captivates millions of people across the globe? Tier lists tap into fundamental aspects of human psychology: our love for categorization, our need for social validation, and our endless appetite for debate. They transform subjective opinions into visually satisfying hierarchies that feel objective, even when they're anything but. Today, we'll explore 20 psychological reasons why tier lists have become such an irresistible format for organizing and arguing about everything under the sun. Our minds are wired to seek patterns and impose order on chaos. Tier lists satisfy this deep cognitive need by taking complex, multifaceted subjects and breaking them down into clear, ranked categories. When we see a jumble of characters, items, or concepts neatly sorted into S tier through F tier, it creates a sense of mental satisfaction similar to organizing a cluttered room. This categorization helps us process information more efficiently and gives us the illusion of control over subjects that might otherwise feel overwhelming. The visual simplicity of tier lists belies their psychological power. They make the messy business of personal taste appear systematic and logical. In an era of information overload, tier lists offer quick, satisfying ways to express opinions without lengthy explanation. Unlike written reviews that require nuanced analysis, a tier list allows someone to convey their feelings about dozens of items at a glance. This immediacy appeals to our fast-paced digital culture where attention spans are short, but the desire to share opinions is stronger than ever. The format turns everyone into an instant critic, lowering the barrier to entry for participating in cultural conversations. Whether you're a hardcore fan or a casual observer, tier lists give you a voice in the ongoing debate about quality and value. Tier lists cleverly disguise subjective preferences as objective rankings. The letter grade system, S, A, B, C, D, F, borrows academic grading's aura of authority, making personal opinions feel like validated assessments. This false sense of objectivity is psychologically comforting. It allows us to present our tastes as if they were facts backed by some universal standard. The visual hierarchy suggests there's a right way to rank things, even when criteria are entirely arbitrary. This explains why tier list debates can become so heated. When people believe their preferences reflect objective truth, disagreement feels like a challenge to reality itself. And creating or viewing tier lists often triggers powerful nostalgic responses. When we rank childhood video game characters or fast food items from our youth, we're not just evaluating quality, we're reliving memories and emotional connections. The items in higher tiers frequently represent formative experiences, while lower tiers might reflect disappointments or periods of personal growth. This emotional layering transforms what appears to be simple ranking into a subconscious autobiography. Our tier lists become maps of our personal histories, coded in the language of pop culture or consumer experiences. Tier lists serve as social currency in fan communities and friendship groups. Discovering someone shares your exact ranking of Marvel movies or pizza toppings creates an instant sense of connection and validation. Conversely, debating tier list disagreements provides low-stakes conflict that strengthens social bonds through playful argument. The format gives people structured ways to express their identities through taste preferences, finding tribes of like-minded individuals while playfully sparring with those who differ. In online spaces especially, tier lists function as both conversation starters and relationship filters. Constructing a tier list allows anyone to temporarily inhabit the role of authoritative critic. This fulfills our psychological need for mastery and recognition, even in domains where we have no professional qualifications. The act of definitively placing items in tiers gives a satisfying sense of expertise and control. For brief moments, we get to play Roger Ebert for video game weapons or fast food breakfast items. This power fantasy is particularly appealing in an age where everyone can broadcast their opinions, but few achieve genuine recognition. Tier lists offer micro-doses of expert status. Tier lists help us resolve the mental discomfort of holding conflicting opinions about things we enjoy. By forcing everything into clear hierarchies, we simplify complex feelings about media, products, or experiences. That movie with amazing visuals but a terrible plot, slotting it into B tier resolves our internal debate. This cognitive streamlining is psychologically efficient, if not always intellectually honest. The format provides mental shortcuts for processing our complicated relationships with culture and consumer goods, turning ambivalence into tidy classifications. The tier list format transforms subjective preferences into a game-like system with clear rules and outcomes. This gamification taps into our innate love for scoring, achievement, and progression. Moving an item up a tier feels like leveling up in a video game, while demoting something provides the satisfaction of penalty. The letter grade system adds an academic dimension that makes the exercise feel like passing judgment in some official capacity. This playful framing makes what could be dry criticism into an engaging activity with built-in reward mechanisms. In fan communities, tier lists function as badges of belonging. Having the correct opinions about which characters belong in S tier signals your status as a true fan. These shared hierarchies create in-group cohesion while establishing boundaries against casuals or outsiders. The more niche the subject matter, the more powerful this effect becomes. Knowing the accepted tier ranking of obscure anime filler episodes marks you as an initiate. This social function explains why tier list debates can become so passionate. They're not just about preferences, but about community membership and identity. Tier lists are perfectly designed to generate perpetual controversy. Their combination of clear structure and subjective content creates ideal conditions for argument. Unlike more nuanced review formats, tier lists present opinions as absolute placements that demand reaction. This debate-generating quality is catnip for online engagement algorithms, ensuring tier list content spreads rapidly as people rush to agree or, more often, correct the creator's mistakes. Comprehensive tier lists that rank every character in a franchise or every item in a category appeal to our completionist instincts. They present the illusion that someone has fully mastered and evaluated an entire domain, which is profoundly satisfying in a world where true expertise is rare. For viewers, consuming these exhaustive rankings provides vicarious satisfaction, like watching someone complete a game you could never finish. The completist aspect also lends tier lists an air of authority. If the creator considered everything, their judgments must be well informed. In an increasingly complex and ambiguous world, tier lists offer comforting simplicity. They reduce multifaceted subjects to clean, linear rankings that suggest there's an objective best and worst. This artificial clarity provides psychological relief from the overwhelming subjectivity of most cultural consumption. The format reassures us that quality can be measured and compared even when the criteria are completely personal. In this sense, tier lists function as coping mechanisms for the anxiety of infinite choice and interpretation. Unlike more formal criticism that requires specialized knowledge or vocabulary, tier lists are democratically accessible. Anyone can understand an S tier versus F tier ranking, regardless of education or expertise. This low barrier to participation helps explain their viral spread across all demographics. The format translates easily across languages and cultures, requiring no complex explanation. This universal readability makes tier lists perfect for our globalized digital culture, where content needs to cross boundaries instantly. Tier lists represent the natural evolution of criticism in the attention economy. Where traditional reviews required paragraphs of analysis, tier lists convey the essence of an opinion in a single glance. This efficiency matches contemporary consumption patterns where visual information is processed faster than text. The format distills criticism to its purest form, a judgment of quality, stripped of all supporting arguments. In our time-starved era, this instant readability is invaluable, even if it sacrifices nuance. As tier lists have proliferated, they've developed their own nostalgic appeal separate from their subject matter. The format itself now evokes memories of early internet culture, simpler times when debates about Dragon Ball Z power levels or Pokémon starters dominated message boards. Creating tier lists has become a ritual that connects us to earlier phases of digital culture, making the activity self-reinforcing. The more tier lists we encounter, the more we associate them with positive online experiences, creating an endless demand for more. Revisiting tier lists over time provides a unique window into personal evolution. Comparing your current rankings to old lists reveals how your tastes, values, and perspectives have changed. This metacognitive function adds deeper meaning to what appears as superficial ranking. Many creators intentionally revisit tier lists after years to document their growth, treating them as cultural diaries. The format's consistency makes it perfect for tracking these changes in ways more fluid forms of expression don't allow. Tier list creation has become its own competitive arena, with creators vying to produce the most definitive, surprising, or controversial rankings. This competition drives innovation in tier list presentation and content, from increasingly niche categories to elaborate visual designs. The format's simplicity makes it perfect for one-upmanship. If someone ranks every Final Fantasy game, another will rank every weapon in every Final Fantasy game. This competitive dimension ensures the format continues evolving and spreading. In an unpredictable world, tier lists offer a fantasy of control. By imposing order on cultural artifacts, we symbolically master aspects of life that normally resist systematization. The act of ranking becomes a small rebellion against chaos, a way to assert that some things can be definitively judged and ordered. This psychological payoff explains why people return to tier lists even when they know rankings are subjective. The temporary sense of control is worth the cognitive dissonance. Tier lists endure because they satisfy so many psychological needs simultaneously. For organization, self-expression, social connection, and playful competition. They've become the perfect format for our digital age. Visually immediate, endlessly debatable, and accessible to all. While they may oversimplify complex subjects, their popularity proves how much we crave structure in our cultural consumption. Ultimately, tier lists are more than just rankings. They're mirrors, reflecting how we process the world, tools for connection, and artifacts of our ongoing quest to impose order on the beautiful chaos of human creativity. Their continued evolution will likely parallel changes in how we think, argue, and bond over shared passion.